This is a shout out to the whole.
I know it's a video here.
The President of the United States is going to wage war on narco-terrorist organizations. This one was operating in international waters, headed towards the United States to flood our country with poison. And under President Trump, those days are over.
He's just lying. There's no evidence of that. Why do you have a boat that size with one outboard motor and 11 guys to move drugs from the coast of Venezuela to the United States? That's literally impossible. You cannot cross the Caribbean in a boat that size. And the type of craft that they use for those type of smuggling, they either have it secreted aboard ocean liners in cargo containers, and if they have dedicated drug craft, they're typically submersible submarines. Real cartels like they have in Colombia are a lot more sophisticated than that. They're just saying, take our word for it. Everything that they say is a lie. Everything they say about Israel is a lie. These are not credible people. Who cares what Marco Rubio says to justify this act of terrorism? Look, we just murdered 11 people for you to watch on TV. Even if they were proved to be drug traffickers, let's say they have these guys on a cell phone intercept saying, meet us here, we're going to take the drugs there, which we haven't seen, but assuming that they had that and they could release it, you don't get to kill people.
Supposed to take their word for it. It wasn't even that long ago, where if someone made a statement like that, they would have to accompany it with some kind of information. Like, how did we get here to this point where, we support people, they're on our side, so we're just going to take their word for whatever they're saying, Like, how did we get here? What information do you have to back up what you're saying? Like, give us something. Like, come on. Like, we're just supposed to take your word for it? What data do you have? What videos, audio, I don't know, intelligence? What information do you have to support what you're saying? We're just supposed to take your word? I feel like people are dumb. That people, that you can't think. That you don't have the ability to think for yourself. So we're just going to do all the heavy lifting and thinking over here. We'll tell you what we're doing or whatever, or why we're doing it or whatever. But as far as giving you data for you to come to conclusions on yourself, we're not going to trouble you with that task. We don't want to make your life difficult. We don't, you got a lot going on. You got to pay bills. You got to go to work. We'll just do all the thinking for. No, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am.